Hello everyone and welcome back to JB's Total Gaming. Well, I said that if I played enough Clash Royale, I might come back to it and show a little bit more. So now I'm a little bit easier able to show off kind of why this game is kind of cool. I really don't like the business model, I've said it before, but without paying any money, I swear to you, without paying any money, I've managed to get to Arena 5 out of the 8 total arenas, and actually ended up top in my guild, so that's pretty cool. So right now what I'm going to do is kind of show off one of the features of the game where you can look at replays of your previous matches, and I thought this was a particularly interesting match that I'd show off here. So if we look at each of our builds here, we only have one card that is the same. We each have a Prince. My opponent has a level 2 and I have a level 1. Princes are neat. They charge in and hit the first thing that they hit after their charge really hard with like a double power attack. The rest of our builds are entirely differently. We both have minions, but my opponent has a 5-cost minion horde where it puts out a bunch of these flying guys, whereas then I put out a 3-cost where I only put out 3 of them. My build is kind of based around being able to hopefully counter some things. So for example, this card in particular, since I run into that lot big minion horde a lot, I like this card because it kind of has a wide area of effect where it can take out a lot of low health minions where there's a lot of them. So both that minion horde and also a skeleton horde that a lot of people use. So for example, a lot of times you'll send a prince out to hit a tower and they'll throw a bunch of skeletons in front of it, and each of those skeletons don't do a lot of damage, but there's a ton of them and a prince can't work its way through and it gets crushed and a bunch of other stuff get through. I'm sorry, both also do have level 7 barbarians, which are kind of a base melee unit. So I also have Fireball to maybe hit some bigger enemies or finish off some towers that are at some low health, which is important. I really love the Witch. It's one of my favorite cards. Basically, it has a ranged attack that can hit ground troops or air troops, and it also spawns 3 small skeletons after a certain amount of time, and it'll keep doing that. And then this guy's an interesting card where when he dies, he drops a bomb that after a short period of time blows up, damages everything nearby. So the goal is to get him into a tower, get him close to a tower, so that he'll hit the tower and then he'll drop his bomb, and the bomb will also explode and hit the tower. So that's kind of what I'm based on. My opponent has some cards like this guy. Hog Rider ignores everything and just goes straight after towers, so he's kind of powerful in that respect, in that a lot of other guys can be distracted or blocked off by troops and this guy to ride right through, but he doesn't have a ton of hit points. And then he has this card that basically buffs up troops, and the dragons, they're kind of annoying. They fly in and have kind of a AoE attack, so they counter, for example, these minions really well. So let's go ahead and watch the match and give you a kind of better idea of what I'm talking about. Like I said, I really do think this game has a lot of cool gameplay, even if I don't like the business model. But like I said, just doing kind of the daily things, unlocking a daily chest and whatever, I've gotten pretty far. So to start off the game, almost all the time people wait to get full health, and my opponent does something interesting here where they attack both sides. They put one thing to one side and two to the other, and you see they put one of those princes there, and they tried to hit my tower. I thankfully had enough mana that I was able to put some guys in front of the prince and stop that assault. It was a pretty neat tactic to try to get me to stop the dragon and then come after the other side. So I have my own prince out here, and he's stopped by these barbarians. So I'm going to throw in some air units the barbarians can't hit to finish off the barbarians. And then he throws in that horde here. So I don't have that one card I was talking about, so I just have put some archers out. There's 2 of them, so they are able to take out the flying units pretty effectively. And then this will happen a lot in this game, where if I were to hurry and put more units out and try to attack, my opponent would be able to counter that and then come after me. So a lot of times you'll sit back and wait until you get most of your mana back up. And then, so here he sends one of those Hog Rider guys out, so my Witch will summon some skeletons, help me take that out, and then he goes after the other side here with that dragon. And I decide, you know what, I'm going to push this tower, and he decides to push that tower. A lot of times you're reacting to your opponent and stuff what they do. Here we kind of make simultaneous pushes, so I pretty much all but lose that tower. I shoot that AoE arrow down to finish off those guys where that tower has just enough health left, but between my Witch spawning skeletons and my big skeleton with the bomb, I'm able to push through his tower and then push on his main tower. So you win the game either by taking out more towers than your opponents by the time the time ends, or taking out their center tower. Now, I kind of finish off his minions, some of my minions, and then, again, we kind of sit back and wait. So I decide I'm going to push his center tower and try to take it out. So I send in some archers to help give cover, and a prince to come through, and he sends out some barbarians to stop me and send his own prince. So this fireball is meant to do a little bit of damage to his tower and also hopefully help take out those barbarians. He's able to finish off my tower, which I knew that was going to happen. Eventually, he only had 90 health. And I send a witch out to finish that knight off. He gets his hog rider in, and it's going to do some damage. But I throw both an arrow unit and some barbarians down to finish that. So I got to decide, do I want to try to take out that other tower to get a 2-to-1 lead, or go center? I decided to push center, and he puts out a horde of minions here, and then I'm able to get off that big AoE. You notice how it takes out the low health guys, but not the barbarians. So thankfully my bomb, it didn't get close enough to the tower to do damage to his center tower, but it did take out his barbarian, so he's down pretty low on the center. So I sent some guys back here, make sure I can defend that tower. And the goal here is I want to defend my tower and take out the guys attacking me, and then as they march up, make a big final push on his tower. So I send this fireball in here, deal damage to some of the stuff near the tower, and don't quite finish off his tower. And I just keep pushing here because I'm pretty sure I'm close to getting it. I've got 2 witches spawning skeletons, I've got archers, and I believe this is about where it ends. So yeah, even though the arrows and the fireballs don't deal as much damage to buildings, they deal a little bit, so I was hoping just to finish it off there. So there's just a little bit, higher level tactics, just 2 different builds, and there was like a metagame in different builds or whatever, but I just thought I'd give another example now that I've played the game a little bit more and try to explain a little bit more why this game does have quite a few cool tactics to it and different ways that you can build. I have quite a few cards unlocked. And there's all different things that they do. You can play very defensively, where you put these turrets. There are places that spawn guys continuously. This guy just deals a bunch of damage to a small area. There are like spells that do buffs or damage or things like that, and then there are a bunch of cards I haven't unlocked yet. So I've seen players play entirely defensively. I've seen players that play defensively until the last second when they make a big push and try to win 1-0. All different builds that you can do. So again, I don't really like the business model, but there is, a lot of tactics in this game, and now that I understand it a little bit better, I thought I'd show that off a little bit. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll be back with more soon.